The salty spray stung Jason's eyes as the ferry approached the familiar, yet alien, shores of Iolcus. Years of exile had etched lines of hardship on his face, each wrinkle a testament to the trials he'd endured. Yet, a flicker of defiance still burned in his steely gaze. He was Jason, son of Ezin, and he was finally returning home. Home, however, had become a stranger. The bustling port, once a symbol of prosperity, now reeked of fear and decay. Gaunt figures huddled in the shadows, their eyes avoiding the watchful gaze of Pelias soldiers who patrolled the docks with an air of menacing indifference. A bitter taste filled Jason's mouth. These were his people, reduced to mere shadows under the iron fist of his usurper uncle. The anger that had simmered for years boiled over, a molten rage threatening to consume him. But he tamped it down, channeling it into steely resolve. He wouldn't succumb to fury. He would be the instrument of liberation. Disguised as a weathered traveler, he slipped into the city, the cobblestones slick beneath his worn boots. The once lively streets were eerily quiet, save for the clatter of armor echoing from the direction of the royal palace, a constant reminder of Pelias' oppressive grip. He found solace in a dingy tavern, a haven for the downtrodden. The air hung heavy with smoke and the murmur of discontent. As he listened to the hushed conversations, a cold dread coiled in his gut. Pelias' cruelty had seeped deep, poisoning the very soul of Iolcus. There were whispers of a prophecy, a rumor of a returning hero who would restore justice. Jason felt a glimmer of hope amidst the despair. He wasn't alone. The people yearned for change, a flicker of rebellion waiting to be ignited. He just needed to be the spark. Days turned into weeks as Jason, his true identity hidden, immersed himself in the city's underbelly. He met with farmers struggling to make ends meet, artisans forced to work for a pittance, and weary soldiers haunted by the ghosts of their past loyalty to Pelias. With each encounter, his resolve hardened. These were the people he was fighting for, the ones he would lead out of the darkness. One evening, he found himself sharing a tankard of ale with an elderly cobbler. The man's calloused hands spoke of a lifetime of hard work, his eyes dull with a weary resignation. "Heard a whisper today," the cobbler rasped, his voice barely above a whisper. "A prophecy. A son of Ezin returning to claim his throne." Jason's heart hammered against his ribs. He fought the urge to reveal himself, to ignite the spark of hope in the man's eyes. But caution held him back. He needed a plan, a way to assess Pelias' strength and gauge the people's willingness to fight. "Just a story, old man," he replied, forcing a nonchalant tone. "Fairy tales for the desperate." The cobbler chuckled, a dry, humorless sound. "Maybe. But sometimes, even fairy tales offer a glimmer of solace in these dark times." His words struck a chord within Jason. He needed to offer more than solace. He needed to offer action. He spent the next few days subtly testing the waters, dropping hints of rebellion, gauging the people's fear and their flickering desire for a better future. The whispers of his arrival grew louder, reaching the ears of Pelias' spies. The once confident tyrant, always paranoid, felt his unease rise. Summons were sent, whispers became hushed warnings, and the city braced for another tightening of the noose. One day, while navigating the labyrinthine back alleys, Jason stumbled upon a group of young men huddled in a secret alcove. Their faces were etched with a mixture of fear and defiance. They were practicing swordplay, their movements clumsy but their determination fierce. "Who are you?" their leader, a wiry youth with a mop of unruly hair, demanded, his voice trembling slightly. Jason saw a reflection of his own youthful rebellion in their eyes. He lowered his hood, revealing his weathered face. "A friend," he said simply. "Someone who believes Iolcus deserves better." The tension in the room eased slightly. Over the next few hours, Jason shared stories of heroes who had defied tyrants, of battles won against seemingly insurmountable odds. He spoke of the prophecy, not as a mere whisper, but as a call to action. By the time he left, the young man's eyes burned with newfound purpose. Jason knew he had planted a seed that would hopefully blossom into a force for change. The news of his encounter with the youths spread like wildfire. He became a beacon of defiance, a symbol of hope flickering in the oppressive darkness. People began leaving anonymous messages for him, cryptic notes, scrawled on tavern walls, hidden messages tucked within baskets of fruit at the market. He was a phantom, a whisper on the wind, yet his presence was a constant thorn in Pelias' side. One moonlit night, a cloaked figure slipped into his room at the ramshackle inn he called home. It was Medea, Pelias' niece, a sorceress with eyes that shimmered with an unsettling intelligence. She spoke of her disillusionment with her uncle's cruelty, of her yearning for a different future. She offered her knowledge, her magic, as a weapon against Pelias. Jason was wary. Medea was a wild card, her loyalties as shifting as the sands. Yet, he couldn't deny the potential power she offered. He agreed to a tentative alliance, a pact built on shared ambition and a mutual desire to see Pelias toppled. With Medea's help, Jason's influence grew. She provided him with a potion that disguised his voice, allowing him to address the people in secret gatherings. His words, amplified by magic, echoed through the city, weaving tales of a brighter future and urging them to rise up against their oppressor. The city became a chessboard, Jason and Pelias maneuvering for control. Pelias tightened his grip, increasing patrols and enacting harsher punishments for any hint of dissent. Jason, in turn, sowed seeds of rebellion, exploiting the growing discontent amongst the populace. One afternoon, while navigating the bustling marketplace, Jason witnessed a scene that ignited his fury. Pelias' soldiers were publicly flogging a baker, accusing him of hoarding grain. The crowd watched in terrified silence, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and suppressed anger. Jason couldn't hold back any longer. He surged forward, his voice ringing out with a newfound power. He denounced Pelias' cruelty, reminding the people of their past prosperity and the rightful king who awaited his throne. A ripple of unease spread through the crowd, followed by a smattering of shouts of agreement. But before the rebellion could truly ignite, Pelias' soldiers descended upon them. A chaotic struggle ensued, the marketplace erupting into a cacophony of shouts and clashing steel. Jason, drawing on years of combat training, fought with the fury of a cornered beast. He knew this was just the tip of the spear, a taste of the battle to come. Using the chaos as a smokescreen, he managed to escape with Medea by his side. They found refuge in the abandoned temple where he had revealed his identity. The air crackled with tension as they assessed the situation. "They'll hunt you now," Medea stated, her voice laced with a hint of amusement. "The rebellion has begun, Jason, whether you're ready or not." Jason looked out at the city bathed in the golden light of the setting sun. Smoke tendrils rose from the marketplace, a grim reminder of the day's conflict. He had awoken a sleeping giant, and there was no turning back. The road ahead was fraught with danger. Pelias, enraged and desperate, would unleash his full might. Jason knew he needed allies more than just the whispers of the downtrodden and the courage of a handful of youths. He needed warriors, heroes willing to fight for a cause greater than themselves. We need to gather them, he declared, his resolve hardening. The prophecy spoke of a quest, a golden fleece to be retrieved. That will be our rallying cry. We will find heroes worthy of the cause, and together we will liberate Iolcus. Medea smirked, a glint of something akin to admiration flickering in her eyes. A grand quest, she said, her voice laced with a hint of amusement. But be warned, Jason, the Golden Fleece is not the only challenge that awaits you. The path ahead is fraught with trials, mythical creatures, and treacherous seas. Are you prepared to face them all? Jason met her gaze, his eyes burning with a steely determination. For Iolcus, he declared, I am prepared for anything. The return to Iolcus had ignited a spark of rebellion, but it had also set Jason on a path far grander than he could have ever imagined. The quest for the Golden Fleece loomed large, a daunting yet necessary challenge. The return to Iolcus had ignited a spark of rebellion, but it had also set Jason on a path far grander than he could have ever imagined. The quest for the Golden Fleece loomed large, a daunting yet necessary challenge. Yet, a disquieting echo of Medea's final words lingered in his mind, a whisper laced with veiled threats and cryptic warnings. The fleece may be the key to reclaiming your throne, she had said, her eyes gleaming with an unsettling intensity. But remember, Jason, some treasures come at a terrible cost. The greatest dangers on your journey may not lurk in the shadows, but walk beside you in the light. Her words sent a shiver down Jason's spine. He knew Medea was powerful, her motives shrouded in a veil of ambiguity. A chilling premonition flickered across his vision, a glimpse of a treacherous betrayal, a lover's embrace turning into a deadly snare. He saw the Argo, his mighty ship, caught in a raging storm conjured by dark magic, and the glint of a stolen prize disappearing into the night, carried away by the very hand that had sworn to help him. The vision faded, leaving a cold dread in its wake. Jason pushed it aside, clinging to the hope that his burgeoning band of heroes would prove strong enough to weather any storm, both literal and metaphorical. Yet the seeds of doubt had been sown. The path to the Golden Fleece would be fraught with danger, and the greatest test of his leadership might not be against mythical beasts or tyrannical kings, but against the one he trusted most. As he readied himself to gather his heroes, a heavy weight settled upon him. The journey for the Golden Fleece was more than just a quest. It was a gamble, a dance with destiny where love, loyalty, and the very fate of Iolcus hung precariously in the balance. Thank you for watching. Please comment below what you would like to see next.